Hello everyone, this is General and welcome to a first look at Oriental Empires here on the channel. So here we are the Shu faction, and I currently control 4 stacks of soldiers, and we're battling it out with Qin at their capital of Qinyi. So here I'm going to just kind of display quickly the battle plan that you can set for individual units. So here I can have my noble axemen, my peasant army halberdiers and whatnot, and I can kind of group them up, and I can say, alright, I want to set them to a battle plan of attacking using a controlled attack, which will coordinate with other units, or I can just have them charge and attack immediately the moment that there's a breach in the wall. So I'm going to do that for these melee units. And over here for my archers, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have them harass the enemy, but not quite go in, because we don't really need them to engage in melee. And then my general, I'll have him in reserve, but he will attack when the time is necessary. I have these catapults as well, and I have, similar battle plans for most units here on the field, as you can see. So we're gonna end the turn, and then we shall see this all in action. So I'm gonna slow it down. So we're gonna march to our designated field of battle. So we actually need to get closer to this tile in order to engage. At least I believe that's how this game works. Do leave a comment on how to do a proper siege, as this is a first look, so we don't have too much experience. So here we've marched to the walls, and it looks like the archers are getting in position to fire their bows, or fire their arrows at the enemy gates. So we already kind of goofed. We kind of left these guys. We should have just had these archers go in first, and then have the melee soldiers move in once the wall has been breached. You can see that, we're shooting catapult rounds, or, just rocks at the walls. Also, you can see these archers. These are the noble archers here, and these are the peasant archers. You can differentiate by the clothing. So it's okay that we're going to leave a few peasant soldiers here. This is more for display purposes only, so to speak. And it's just, we're just kind of showing you how sieges work. So it looks like there's a breach in the wall, and it looks like these guys will hopefully go in soon. When they do, we'll see. Looks like these guys are doing the moonwalk to the enemy siege camp. Looks like a bunch of other men are marching around as well. So I think these guys will be the first to breach in. These peasant spearmen will engage. I think they're peasant spearmen. I don't believe these are archers, but they very well could be. It's hard to differentiate sometimes. Alright, so it looks like we have some men breaching the wall, and it's very possible that these guys are the spearmen. I'm hoping that they're the spearmen. Peasant-like spearmen, excellent. So they have begun to breach the wall. We'll see a bunch of enemy soldiers kind of defending the wall. And it looks like they repelled our attack. But since we're laying siege, we made sure to keep these guys in the back to just kind of shoot at the enemy as they kind of try to come out to fight. Well, they don't actually go out, but I expected them to go out to fight my peasant spearmen that are currently marching in through their gates, which is currently on fire as well. We do have some more men in reserve that haven't engaged in combat yet. We're shooting catapult rounds from pretty much all around at this point. We'll just call it the north and east gates, or south and east gates, I guess, in this case. And it looks like we were unable to breach that specific portion of the south gate. As we go towards the east gate, it looks like it's mostly destroyed, but I don't believe we were able to breach in this turn. So you can see a lot of my men are retreating. So I'm just going to fast forward that a little bit as they kind of unroute themselves. So we can actually look at the battle reports here. It was an indecisive battle. We didn't have enough time to take that settlement. So you can see the battle stats here. We lost 161, whereas the enemy lost 206. 817 men remaining versus 184. So I think we're pretty good right now. We killed a bunch. We can probably keep with a similar battle plan. I don't think it matters too much. We could probably be a little bit more strategic, but I think we're just gonna hop on in and end the turn here. So we can see the battle once again, as my men actually just quickly charge in with their spears. Yep, so the peasant light spearmen, they go in immediately. The settlement's still on fire. It's really just continuation. This is like day 2 continuation of that siege. And it looks like we may have won. We just killed one guy. Oh, yep, there it is. Looks like we were able to march in with some of our other units, and we were able to capture that settlement. So in the battle report, what happened? We killed all 225 of them, I guess. No, we didn't. We only killed 20 of them, but it looks like they all just spontaneously died in the fire that they were, something crumbled and it crushed them to death. So we captured the city of Chinyi. You can see the victory there. But what's also cool is once you take a settlement, it's very similar to, like Total War. You can occupy, sack, and destroy a settlement. So if you occupy it, it's basically just taking over the city. Or if you want to sack it, you'll still keep the city, but you sack it, more or less. And then if you destroy it, pretty self-explanatory. You kill everyone in there. So we'll just sack the city for the sake of taking a look at how that works. So, and not a whole lot going on over there, but we also defeated the Qin player here. So we still get to keep the city. However, there is a negative effect of sacking. When you sack, it's 4 turns where you cannot manage the city at all after capture. And then if you just peacefully occupy it, it's going to be 2 turns. And you can see that, there's like trade routes that are now going to this new city that is currently ours. And you can do all these cool things. Alright, so I just want to quickly talk about kind of the current city infrastructure here. It's a mix of like civilization and Total War, whereas you get like the hex tiles of Civ, but you get like the cool management of the armies similar to Total War. The only difference is that you can't really control them in real time. You just have to set a battle plan, as you saw, and they just kind of do their thing over the course of that turn. And as you saw, it took us 2 turns to take the city. We probably could have taken it in 1 if we changed our battle plan up a little bit, because we did the kind of just have guys hanging out and archers charge in for no particular reason. So there's that. And then here, you can see that if you scroll up a lot, you can see like different trade routes, their value. You can trade with AI if they're neutral, I believe. If they're hostile, you won't be able to trade with them, but neutral is generally like you make a pact. I think you make a pact anyways. You can see other people's trade routes. You can block trade routes. So it's really nice that you can kind of just zoom in to see the level of detail. You can see the peasants work at the farms. You could have them clear land, do all these other cool things, build new buildings. But you can also, the city management is pretty neat. Here you can, build farms, chop wood, build roads. And you kind of all see them all do that in action. You can also build like these special buildings to make people happier. And the classes are split into 2. There's nobles and then there's peasants. And you want to keep both of them happy so that you don't have revolts based on, it's basically, if you piss off the peasants, they'll have a peasant revolt. If you piss off the nobles, they'll have a noble revolt. And the only difference is really just the unit quality, and also like what units you carry within your army. So if you have like, a bunch of peasants and there's a peasant revolt, it's a very likely chance that these peasants will join them if they're close enough. So if you don't have like a leader to lead them, it's very likely that they'll revolt and join the other side. So you want to be careful of that. Same with nobles, I think, because I think there's like sympathy between their classes of some sort. So there's that. So try not to have any revolts. However, you can kind of mitigate that if, let's say, you had an army of trained soldiers. These guys, you know, you have to pay money in order to recruit them, but you know their upkeep is about the same as others. However, they aren't specific to any class, so their loyalty can't really be bought, or they won't switch sides for no particular reason because their loyalty is to you versus to their class. At least that's how I think this works. What's nice about recruiting peasants and nobles is that they're free to recruit. You only pay for their maintenance fee. They're generally much cheaper, but they're also much, you know, weaker in a sense. So like you have this halberdier versus this halberdier, and they're not that much weaker, but they are weak enough where there's a difference, and you know, loyalty comes at a price. You can also recruit settlers, which are basically it takes 2 population from your current city when you recruit them. So if I recruit, you know, there you go. You see that we recruited 2, and you can kind of use these settlers to go to another tile and then settle there. They'll give you a marker that says, hey, you can settle here. There's potential to trade with all these folks and whatnot. So this is one of the first games that I played, and you kind of see, you know, there's a few mistakes here and there, or a lot of mistakes, but hey, we're all here to learn. So, you know, we start off with our capital of P right here. And, you know, we kind of started off close, which is good, but then we had this great idea to expand further out, which was okay, but then we kind of went really far. Like we went all the way down here. We should have kept it maybe a little bit closer, but this isn't too bad because we can get these resources once we're close enough, once we're adjacent to it. So if we built like a farm here, once the city's big enough, we'll get those new resources. But we kind of just went too far north, I think, in my opinion. We kind of expanded too far. We should have built a bigger base. You know, the income kind of sucks here. 178 per turn. I mean, come on, guys. This is a faction that heavily that is heavily influenced by trade, so they get bonuses for that. So you want to make sure you have enough cities, you know, closer together. Not too close, because you want to let them to be able to expand, but you know, close enough that they can trade within each other. You want to maximize the trade value. We kind of went on a more war-like route, so we went north, established some of these cities, and then, you know, right over here we just destroyed the Qin dynasty and whatnot. And we also took another one of their cities here. So we took 3 of their cities. I think we burnt 1 to the ground. No, we didn't. This was the one that I planned on burning to the ground. Alright, so that's kind of the look here, but I want to show you another settlement that I'm currently working on. Alright, here's the other game that I started shortly after the debacle with the other game. You know, we expanded way too far out, so you know, we learned some lessons there. So we took my earlier advice and we said, alright, we're gonna keep our capital here. And you can see, like, the really large difference here is, one, our income is around 1,200. It was at like 2,000 to 2,700 earlier, but we built a bunch of new things, and you know, we're losing money from that. But I expect it to go further up as we continue this game. But this is a unlimited turns game, so I want to see how far I can get with this. So it should be pretty interesting to build your empire, and just, you know, there's no, you know, victory conditions, with the exception of, you know, you just conquering all of the map. So that would be the only way to win, I suspect. We're not doing cultural victories or anything. We want to become the unifier of all. So one of the big things I may have already mentioned is, look at the trade routes. Look at this. We kept them close. Some of them might be a little bit too close, but that's okay. I mean, here I was just trying to maximize our trade route values. You can see here, just the capital alone, we make 920 gold. 430 from external trade, which I think could be even higher, and then Chengdu, similar things going on over here. We're trading all of these different materials, and you can also see, population plays a huge part. Also, the grain tax, I think, is very, very good to increase your trade value. And my goodness, we also built a bunch of wharfs, so you can do sea-based trading, which is over here. You can only build one port. You can also build a boatyard to build ships for combat. And aside from that, we have some pretty decent unrest, I guess. 29 is pretty low. We have a ton of suppression, but happiness plays a pretty big role. I mean, over here we kind of goofed. 122 labor service, 166 dissatisfaction, but look at this. We brought the military out. 64 soldiers, 64 groups worth. So you can see here we brought armies. We made particular attention not to have full peasant armies to suppress the peasants, otherwise it doesn't really help our cause very much. And you can see here, we have our general, a ton of nobles, so it's very unlikely that they'll revolt and take the city. We also had a general there. If you have a general who has very high virtue, he can reduce the unrest significantly. So in this case, this guy has 3 bars of virtue, so I guess that means 30, maybe 10 for each. And his energy is improves the fighting effectiveness of your army. And here I actually want to show one other quick thing is things I want to mention here when you're playing the game is you want to make sure you have high authority. We have 17 authority, which means we can control at a minimum 17 cities without the nobles getting pissed off and whatnot. Culture is also very important. I think it gives you bonuses for happiness. So let's see right here, 26 happiness because of our culture. These guys are 13 to the minimum, so I guess it's double for nobles. You can also see the food production, agriculture, different farm types will give you different bonuses, I suppose, or more food if it's higher technology. So if you have irrigated farms, you'll have higher food production. There's also something called resources on the map. You see wild game is one of them. You can see denoted by the deer. Rhinos generate income versus food, and then there's fish, and there's a whole bunch of other things. We can actually scroll over to the left. We've done a lot of exploring. We sent scouts everywhere. Gold you can mine. Also, there's like these things called chance encounters. Jade. Let me show you one of the mines really quick. You can build mines. Well, actually, I already built this, so we're currently mining from this mine right there. Let me just scroll on in. You can see there the level of detail. So one thing I want to definitely show you guys are like how encounters work and how that looks. So right now we're just gonna, I guess. Oh, I can show you the technology tree as well. So it's broken down into 4 different categories: power, craft, thought, and knowledge. And each one comes with its own specialty. If you want to focus more on power, what does that mean? Building better walls, roads, and things like that. And you can also recruit, like this guy, military theory, which will allow you to recruit strategists and things like that. And strategists are just characters that you can use as governors and things like that. Coinage and whatnot. Craft is important. This allows us to research items for trade, so like silk. It also allows us to be able to build the copper mines and things of that sort. Pottery, which ceramics is important. thought. Basically, generally, it's increases authority and culture, and also, I guess, chi or virtue in all of these guys. So you can choose a bunch of things. We're currently looking for, you know, the legalist school, which will allow us to do a whole bunch of other things, which will make our peasants happy because it allows them to, you know, be promoted in battle and things like that. And then knowledge, well, knowledge is, you know, you get to ride horses and use bows and things like that. But, you know, also to explain life, I guess, in this case, so that people aren't startled by meteors. So it prevents any adverse effects when there's eclipse, because people now know what those things are. But before, when we didn't have this research, you would get like massive penalties for not having researched that. So that's what knowledge is in this particular case. This diplomacy, you can see we're on pretty good terms with all of our surrounding neighbors. Oh, schnapples! I accidentally double clicked, and we can you know, make them do stuff. But we're not going to do anything here. There's also something known as imperial edicts. You can issue edicts which will have temporary effects for the population, but also permanent ones. But if you cancel, you know, you have some penalties. So like here in this case, you know, you lose authority for 20 turns, or you can have noble unrest for 25 turns, and it will allow you to do all of these cool things, plus 2 authority and minus 10 peasant. So I'm going to issue this. That actually cost us 500 denaros, or gold. We've issued most of the edicts just because they're mostly positive. They move you in the right direction. And, you know, some of these cost, wow, a whole ton of money to issue. So that central bureaucracy cost me 500 per turn. As you can see now, my income has been reduced. But we'll see the benefits of that hopefully later, because we'll be able to enact the salt tax and things like that. And you can see the income, you know, our trade is very high, in my opinion. 3,300 is pretty high. Our expenses are a little bit too high for my liking, but, you know, buildings, oh, I haven't talked about buildings yet. But buildings allow you to do trade and whatnot. So here you can look at the construction. You know, we made sure to kind of specialize certain cities to do certain things so that the trade value is higher. Well, at least I think that's how this works. Is that this guy has a market, you know, silk, a caravan, which will allow you to re-export imported goods. But more importantly, this guy also has, you know, he produces iron and steel. But not every city has these things. So, for example, I think Mianzhu is the only other city that has something similar. He also has a silk, but the capital of Pai does not have silk. So I think you can import the goods at a slightly higher price, I believe. Let's see, Chengdu. My goodness, there's just so much going on. And we can also, I don't particularly know if that's the case, but anyways, I basically just made sure that, you know, each city kind of specialized in their own thing, and if there was profit to be made for other cities, like these two are central cities, so it's okay if they both have silk, because Chengdu's not trading with, like, you know, these outer regions. They're too far away. So that's why we have silk in these two, and, you know, ceramics all over the place and whatnot. I'm actually going to end turn here so you can kind of see what's going on. We're going to be marching forward there. If you march from further away, you just kind of see them there, but if you want to zoom in, you can also see them move as well. And it's pretty nice now that we're so far up in the game, or so far into the game, 156 turns. We're now even trading with foreigners, which wasn't the case in my well, I mean, I guess we kind of did, but this one is a little bit more apparent because you can actually see the value. I mean, we're making a ton of loot just from trading with these guys, over 300 gold per turn. At least I think that's what that means for the export value. So we have a new character. You can see that Zhuge Zhao has joined us. He is now the governor, so he'll be very helpful. And then before we go away, I'm actually going to issue the salt tax, which will tax the population 1 per person. So that will increase our income by 1,000 gold, guys. 1,000 gold. And we're just going to keep on going, just kind of see these dudes march forward, and also kind of I want to show you the chance encounter before the video ends. And so you can, it'll run all of our stuff first, all of our battle plans, and then I'm just gonna skip this because we're just gonna show the chance encounter. It's not particularly crazy, but it's definitely something on the map that should be shown as a first look, just to show you guys what it does. So we've encountered this person, and he's a noted thinker, and he basically is actually really good. He improves the thought advancement rate by 6%. We have, I believe, a penalty of minus 20% for thought research at the beginning of the game. So now we've kind of jumped over that hump, and we are now at a bonus of 3%. So now that's great. So that's why you want to kind of run around the map and talk to these chance encounters. But here's the thing, you gotta be careful. Don't just randomly go to these. Like right here, there's a nodal bandit leader that lurks here. He has made it known that he wishes to parley, though it is not clear why a lord will waste his time dealing with such scum. So there's these guys, but there's also like these ones, a particular beautiful girl, and these are the trap ones. They are there to steal your money. Basically, you go to this one and they like ransom you for like 500 gold, and then that's the end of your turn. But there's other ones where they're a little bit better. Rich merchant might be good. I don't know. I haven't encountered those guys yet. But famous teacher and things like that. But I think that's mostly what I have to talk about here. I mean, we're now going to look at the statistics of this current game. We haven't done too much in battling, but we've done a ton of construction. Not a whole lot of fighting yet. We fought some bandits, but that's not particularly important. So, yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this, or more videos of this game in particular. I plan on kind of just giving you guys glimpses of this current game as I go forward. But please leave a comment, subscribe, like, do all those cool things, and let me know what you guys want for the future content. I mean, we'll definitely be doing Total War still. This is just kind of an early access game that I was like, what, for 20 bucks, I'll give it a shot. It was on sale on Black Friday, so man, I had to try it. I mean, there was no excuse now. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'd like to thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you next time.